I know it's been a while, so let's have a chat today and let's make bread, or at least try to. During lockdown, I never went on the making sourdough bread at home journey. I stuck to the making banana bread at home journey, making cinnamon rolls at home journey, and making sushi at home journey, but not sourdough. With the way the world is going, if I were to fend for myself in a primal situation, I feel concerned that I would not be able to make bread. I feel like society has primed us to be dependent on a certain availability and convenience of resources that if that was just taken away from us, we would perish. So making bread today is not just about making bread or trying something new. We're working for my survival here, okay? Now, I went on the journey of making the sourdough starter maybe like 2 months back. And I made it, and then I was too scared to actually use it to make the bread. If you've never made bread before, you might not have caught that line in Succession, but one of the sons gives the father, this multi-billionaire tycoon, sourdough starter. And his father obviously looks at it and is like, the fuck? But if he knew the actual work that's needed to make this, I feel like he would have appreciated it more. So this is my starter. I have named it. I'm not proud of the name. Actually, I didn't come up with a name. I asked my boyfriend to come up with a name for our sourdough starter, and he came up with the name Clint Eastwood. Yes, so this is Clint. Say hi to everyone, Clint. This is a ferment, and it's basically flour and water, which feels like a miracle. By itself, it becomes a living thing. It's bacteria. And then you take that bacteria and you add more flour and water, and then you have a bread. How crazy is that? So, welcome to me discovering bread in 2024. Anyway, this is not my first time trying to bake bread. I tried last week and failed miserably. I kind of tried to note down what I think went wrong, and I'm going to try and fix it this time. The first thing we have to do is feed Clint. Yes, because the ferment needs feeding like a pet. I'm going to try 2 different types of flour. I'm going to try a plain flour and the bread flour again, and then I'll see what happens, and then whichever one I like best. Maybe I try baking 2 loaves of bread, who knows? Let's see where the bread takes us. This is Clint in its hungry form, and I'm going to feed him. So anyway, I know that I haven't been on the channel a lot in the last year, and I went through a bit of a personal journey of trying to figure out what I want to do with my life, what I want to do with the channel. And even though I know that I don't stay very consistent on here, even though one of my yearly goals for last year was to post at least twice a month, and then I ended up only posting like once a month. I didn't actually post every single month. There were many months when I didn't post anything, and then one month I would post 3 videos. And that was the biggest guilt that I felt throughout the entire year. Because if I'm really honest, YouTube for me is both my favorite social media that I have and my least favorite. I feel that when I post on YouTube, I really get to connect with people. I like the conversations that people have in the comments, and from very early on, I understood that the moment you click publish, it stops being your video, and I'm very happy with that. I see it as I make the video, I'm sharing my opinion and my perspective on things, and then the moment I hit publish, the conversations in the comments, it's your space. People are sharing their own experiences. Sometimes they agree with me, sometimes they disagree with me, but that conversation is the ultimate goal for me. I see it as I'm just a conversation starter, and the point of me making the videos is actually to spark the conversation, and I really like that. So that gives me some purpose in life. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure I'm a people pleaser, but I'm trying really hard not to be. I think it's a part of being human to want to be liked. I don't think I'm unique in that, or that I'm too different from other people in that, but when I put out those conversation starter videos, obviously it doesn't always attract people that agree with me, and that's exactly the point. However, I still struggle a lot with disconnecting the fact that someone disagrees with me with the fact that I'm wrong because they disagree with me. There's things sometimes that I haven't considered, that I missed, that I phrased slightly incorrectly and didn't catch it, and then someone points something out that I haven't considered. I want to be able to learn with that. I want to be able to take that viewpoint and it's like, oh, actually, I didn't consider this before. Let me add this to the number of things that I will consider going forward when looking at a different situation. However, in my head, that's what I'm telling myself, but in my heart, I'm reading someone disagreeing with me and I'm thinking, oh, shit, I haven't considered this, I'm a terrible person, and therefore everything else I said in the video must be wrong, which is completely irrational and not at all true, but I'm just trying to improve on that. So for that reason, I'm very scared of reading comments on my YouTube videos. And I think YouTube is slightly different from other social media, where you're sitting there watching me, and if you choose to subscribe to my channel, it's because you understand the way I think and you agree with me, or you like hearing what I have to say, or you trust my opinions. And that to me is so much more valuable than if I post a picture and someone clicks like on it, right? But at the same time, when someone comments something negative or they disagree with me over something I said, then that feels a lot more personal. So internally, it's a good thing to expose myself to that, because I feel like I will get better as a person by exposing myself to being critiqued. But at the same time, sometimes I just don't feel like exposing myself that much, and I feel like that sometimes holds me back from posting more. And then obviously videos take so long to edit, and that's the main reason why I don't come here more often. When I set a goal to be more consistent and then I physically cannot be because I don't have the time, I just get mad at myself. So I'll try my best, but I'm not going to set up a posting schedule. I'll just pop on here when I can, and it will be like a nice surprise. Oh, she's still alive. I mean, the last video that I posted talking to you guys, I said I wanted to make a specific video. I ended up having 2 interviews with 2 of you who reached out to me, which is insane. Like, it's so nice to be able to speak to people like that and hear your thoughts and your experiences. Like, I interviewed 2 people back in September, and I still haven't made the video, and that pisses me off so much. Like, I piss myself off thinking about that. I want to make sure it's done well, and so I haven't done it still, but it pisses me off. So these are the 2 versions of Clint. This is with plain flour, and this is with bread flour. They're just going to stay like that until they bubble up and double in size. But don't worry, I went to the store yesterday and bought an emergency bread just in case. Now we just wait a few hours. In 2023, I also had the goal to improve the decor and interior design of my apartment, so I want to see how that's going. So you might remember when I made those, everything else is pretty much the same. That's a pregnancy pillow from my mom when she was pregnant with my brother. My mom has a lot of back problems and pain, which she very kindly passed on to me. I brought this pillow from Portugal because it actually helps a lot when I am having back pain. It keeps my back kind of straight and it's just comfortable. Thanks, Mom. And I also had a goal to get a coffee table finally, but as you can see, there is no coffee table because I have this idea in my head of what I want a coffee table to look like here. I go on Pinterest and I see all these beautiful coffee tables that would be lovely here, and they all cost $10,000. So obviously the rational, logical decision is to just not have one. Something that's also new in the apartment is this desk, because Dan is moving in finally. The 3 years that I've been living in London, I've been living by myself, so we've been long distance, even though we have lived together in the past when I lived in Portugal, where I'm from. And now finally last year he began the process to kind of move over to the UK, which I'm very excited about. So that does mean that he gets his own desk. I need to get a new chair. We had to go through the discussions of the aesthetic of my apartment and integrating him into the aesthetic of my apartment. Obviously, that pretty much tells everyone that there's a man living here. And speaking of pillows as well, there's something else that I've been trying. As I mentioned, my back pain is a situation I have to deal with. My mom was always very strict about what pillows she sleeps with. She's the kind of person that she will bring her own pillow if she goes on holiday. So I was looking for a new pillow and I got an email from this brand called Sleep and Glow. They asked me if I wanted to try their pillows and I said yes. This is the one that I've been sleeping with. I need to change the cover, but this is what it looks like. Obviously it doesn't look as nice as a fluffy big pillow on the bed, but it's meant to help sleep on your back. It's memory foam, it's ergonomic, so it supports the curve of your neck, and then it's lower here so that the back of your head sits nicely, and then you have these lateral parts. You can rest your head against it when you're trying to basically learn how to sleep on your back. Ever since I was little, I always slept on my side. I would wake up with the most terrible back pain, but I also wasn't able to sleep on my back just by myself, so I really wanted a pillow to help me do that, and this one really has done that. Lay down like that, and my head kind of just like fits nicely in here. I really just wanted to learn how to sleep on my back, so I've been using that one, but this is the other one. It has these gaps here so that you can fit your face. Lay down on your back and then you turn to the side. Your face is like resting on this part that's a bit higher, basically suspended, so you're not touching the pillow and you're not scrunching up. After going to physical therapy last year and after trying a bunch of other things to try and improve my back pain, I just really feel like the 1/3 of the day that I spend sleeping in a certain position really impacted how much better I feel waking up and not feeling like a crunchy twig, which is basically what I felt like. I just feel like the pillow really helps me stay in a position during the entire night that doesn't trigger as much back pain as I used to have. So I spoke with the company and I asked them to provide me with a discount code that I could share with you guys in case you're looking for something similar. I'm going to leave the code here and the link down in the description below. If it's something that you'd like to try, I just thought a discount code could potentially help alleviate a bit of that cost. I'm just remembering that I might not have enough flour to make the bread, which sucks because that means I have to leave the house and it's currently 0 degrees, so I'm going to have to brave the cold. One thing about me this Christmas was that I was begging everyone to give me socks. I got these fluffy ones from Dan's sister, and obviously I have a second pair underneath because how can you survive in these conditions, honestly? It's now nighttime. I think I'm going to do some AP testing here. I have 2 bowls with flour, I have 2 sourdough starters, so I guess I'm making 2 loaves of bread. Wish me luck. So I've measured the flour here. I need to add salt, and I'm not really going to mess too much with the recipe. I'm not adding any seeds or anything fancy. I'm just hoping I get some bread out of this. A couple of things I did wrong last time. I used only whole wheat flour, which apparently you're not supposed to do. It just came out looking like a very thick cake. It didn't rise at all. And another mistake I think I made last time was that I stirred the sourdough starter before measuring it out. These are the starters. This one didn't rise as much as this one, but it's slowly coming down, which means it's ready to make bread with. I'll just measure a bit of this out and I need to mix it with water, and then I'll mix that into the flour. And I know it sounds like I know what I'm doing or what I'm talking about, but we'll see. Here goes nothing. Okay, the good news is this is looking already a lot better than the last try. I'm liking the look of that. I have no idea if I'm doing it right, but it looks right. Well, one thing's for sure, that's a nice arm workout. Oh yeah, this one looks a lot more spongy. You know when you have like a mousse with bubbles? That's what it feels like. Okay, now I'm going to cover this one up and I'll be back in about 5 minutes to start kneading. Okay, so I just washed my hands. I'm ready to get down to business. Okay. Oh, okay. This is a lot different from the first time I attempted this. I'm a lot more positive. I guess this is meant to help develop the gluten and make the dough stretchy. Oh my god, is this going to be a success? I don't want to jinx it. You know what? I'm getting really excited about this. Okay, I'm back for the second round. Guys, I'm starting to think that we might end up having bread at the end of this. So exciting! So now I need to leave these 2 overnight to proof. It's almost 11 p.m. and I'm kneading bread. So I better go to sleep and I'll see you in the morning. Oh, it's a bit later in the day because it was really cold during the night. It was actually, I think, the coldest day this winter so far for sure. It took a little longer for the dough to be ready. So now let's see how we do. Currently looking a little bit like that. I have no idea if that's what it's supposed to look like. I think so, from what I've read. My first time getting to this stage with somewhat of a success. I have had some, let's say, issues, troubles that have plagued my mind. I'll try not to go too much into the detail because I don't want this to be too negative, but one of my biggest fears in life is going to the other side, meeting the maker, if you want to put it that way. The other day, I was almost falling asleep. It was probably close to midnight. Dan and I were in bed, and then I just laid there and I asked, what happens when you sleep? Because, like, you know, you're falling asleep and then you kind of go unconscious and then you wake up. But, like, if someone's awake sitting next to you for 7 or 8 hours, for them it's 7 or 8 hours, but for you it feels like 1 or 2 minutes. When you're unconscious, where does your mind go? I imagine that one day when you die, like, it may be something similar to when you fall asleep, right? But then do you just stay in that state of unconsciousness forever? That's the thing that scares me, is like not knowing what happens next. This could be a conversation for like 3 hours, but Dan and I have very different views of what happens when you die. I like to believe that there's something else after. Dan is very much pragmatic, like, no, your brain cells die and that's it. That's the end. There's nothing else. It's just nothing. And that to me freaks me out so much. I need to lift this up now. I don't have a Benetton, whatever you call it, because I'm not that much of a bread maker yet. I'm actually going to use a wok. Hopefully it works more or less the same. Actually, yesterday I forgot to show a couple of things that I got. I got this beautiful cast iron pot for a bargain at TK Maxx. I just love the color, but I'm really scared of ruining it. I'm not sure if I will bake the bread in the cast iron or if I just put it straight onto the oven sheet pan. Long story short, all of this to say what? Ever since I was little, maybe like 6, 7, I don't know, I remember saying I want to live until I'm 300 years old, which obviously is a bit ridiculous, but I always had this passion for life that I just want to try and do as much as I can in this life, as much as possible. I want to suckle on the titty of life. It scares me so much that you never know what's coming tomorrow, right? The biggest fear in my life is dying and not having had the chance to do everything I wanted to do. A couple years back, I had a tough time with anxiety and my job, having to go to therapy and having panic attacks and all those things. And that really opened my eyes to question, what is it that I want to do? I work in corporate, like so many people. I basically sold my soul to the financial services industry to make good money and have a comfortable life. However, does that make me feel as fulfilled as I think I would like to be? If you ask me, do I want... Oops. Okay. If you ask me, do I see myself working in an office for 40 years? No. But also, do I know what the hell I want to do with my life? No. That's more or less the journey I've been on. There's things I like to do. There's things I'm trying to work towards. I don't have everything figured out. I used to think I knew what I wanted. I had this grand plan for life. I was going to do all the right things and study the right things and go to the right places and work in the right companies and achieve, and then I would be happy. From one day to another, you might actually realize that the things you thought you wanted 10 years ago, 5 years ago, yesterday, they're not serving you. And I just need to be okay with accepting that it's not a linear path. Sorry, it got really dark suddenly and now I have this horrible light. I'll preheat the oven and then maybe we're going to have bread. Fingers crossed. Something else I forgot to share. A new addition since Dan now lives here is this cute Nespresso coffee machine, because he has a coffee dependency, let's say, and he was always complaining that I didn't have decent coffee at home, so we decided to buy a nice cute aesthetic coffee machine. Just realized that the lighting was really bad before, so I kind of flowered this. I'll just flip it. Aye aye. I'll need to improve that step of the process. I already know this is not going to be the prettiest loaf anyone's ever seen, but as long as it becomes a bread that's edible, I'll be happy. Can I try to do some scoring? I'm not sure if that did anything. Now into the oven. Now 20 minutes. I'll just do a quick prayer. Ave Maria, cheia de graça, o Senhor é convosco, bendita sois vós entre as mulheres e bendito é o fruto do vosso ventre, Jesus. The oven just beeped. Oh my god, I'm nervous. Okay, now everything's blurry. Look! That is looking like a bread. Wow! Okay. It smells amazing. Oh, I think I have a problem. I think it's stuck to the pan. No, this cannot be happening. It's stuck to the pan. No! Okay, I'm going to try to fix this. Okay, I managed to take it out. It's looking like it's gonna be okay. Ignore all the mess behind me. This is the second one. I will try to do it next time with a baneton, I don't know how to say it, or in the cast iron pan, so that they're like round and fluffy. But at least appearance wise, it's a huge improvement from the one I tried to do before, and hopefully the taste as well. At least they smell really good. Let me break it. This will be the great reveal. Here goes nothing. Oh my god! Look at that. I'm so happy with that. And it tastes good. I could cry. I'm so happy. Biggest achievement of 2024 so far. Oh my god. That's so good. Let's see the other one. I put a lot of flour on this one because I didn't want it to stick. Oh my god, look how fluffy that is. Okay, there's lots of flour. Oh my, I'm so proud. Oh my god, I'm going to be baking bread every week now. Successful. Oh, hi, didn't see you there. What am I doing, you ask? Nothing much, just eating some bread I made. In all seriousness, I'm pretty proud of myself for making bread. I called my mom yesterday to show her the bread I made. I also sliced the rest of the bread yesterday and put it in the freezer so that it doesn't go tough. How do you say it? And then I realized I don't have a bread to pose for the thumbnail of the video, so that means I need to make another bread this week and take a photo for the thumbnail. So, you know, if you watch this video and it has a thumbnail with myself with a bread on it, then you know I have successfully repeated the endeavor. I just wanted to have a silly little chat, talk a little bit about what I've been feeling, crazy little things that have been going around in my head, and talk a little bit about purpose, which is, I think the journey I'm on currently is just finding what gives me purpose and what gives me joy to do. Like making this bread gave me so much happiness. It's just the small things, but it's something I've never been able to do successfully before. It's just something I made and I get to enjoy it. And I don't know, to me, like cooking gives me joy. So I'll definitely be continuing to do that. Traveling gives me joy. Like all the things that I showed you during this video that I bought for the house is literally the only things I bought during the entirety of last year, and then I just spent the rest of my money traveling. And it makes me happy that you guys have been responding so positively to the travel vlogs, because if I'm completely honest, when I'm traveling, it's when I feel the most alive. Like it's my most favorite thing to do in the world. I like eating and I like cooking and I learn new recipes and I come home and I make the foods that I ate while I was traveling, and that just gives me so much joy. If I look at the grand scheme of things in life, and I know it's not a really positive conversation to have, but it really is everything that has been consuming my brain is, if I only have this life, what is it that I want to spend my time on? It's most definitely not sitting in a cubicle for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 40 years. But also I have to pay the bills. So I think it's just this balance of how can we have a sustainable, financially responsible life, which I always try to do. I have savings, like all those things are very important, but also not spend your entire life just waiting around for the weekend. I don't know, this could be like a very long conversation, and the late night thoughts I have could fill an entirety of a 3-hour podcast or more. So we're not going to dive into that, but the important thing is I made bread, and if anyone else is experiencing the same, please do tell me in the comments, because I feel like so many people are going through this and we're not alone. I don't know, I don't have a solution. I think it's everyone's individual journey to try to figure out what they want and what makes them happy and what makes them feel fulfilled. For some people, it's making bread. And again, thank you so much for sticking around with the channel. I'm not going to promise any posting schedule, but what I can promise is that all the ideas that you send me, all the requests you make, they're always in the back of my mind. I'm definitely not going away. There's going to be food travel vlogs coming still. I still have one from October that I haven't posted. I'm sorry that I haven't been here as much as I would like, but thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your continued support. It really means a lot to me, and I'm just wishing you all the best for 2024, and here's to figuring out our lives. Thanks for spending time with me over the last 3 days baking bread.